This is Kevin Mayo, and today we're going to drink some Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale. I am your correspondent for the Real Ale Craft Beer, and we are drinking this beer today for the first time. I've never had any of the Bourbon Barrel series. Don't know a lot about them. Website says they've been around since 2000. Company's called Alltech or Lexington Brewing, and their specialty is bourbon barrel beer. They're in Kentucky. They said they have bourbon barrels everywhere, so they go ahead and use them to age the beer. I guess they brew the beer, they take a fresh, just empty bourbon barrel, and they age this in it 6 weeks. So let's give it a crack and see what we got. Give it a pour here. Did a little bit of research. I guess it's an English style strong ale for the basic ale. It is 8.2% ABV, and that's all we know about this beer. It's probably a dark yellow, pale orange, fair amount of carbonation, and got a pretty thin head that's dissipating fairly fastly, just slightly off white, and so let's do the aroma. I do taste the alcohol, I do smell the alcohol, and I do smell the bourbon. I definitely get picking up hints of the bourbon. And then we get a little bit of the malt, maybe just a hint of caramel. And that's really about it. Bourbon would be the most prevalent aroma off of this beer. And bourbon would be the most prevalent taste off of this beer. And it's a nice, well-rounded bourbon taste. I forget which Innocent Gun I tried, and I really couldn't pick up anything from the barrel on that one. I mean, definitely bourbon. That nice oaky bourbon flavor. Jim Beam, or actually everybody says Jack Daniels. That's not actually bourbon, but so. And then it dries, though. It really finishes dry. Your mouth dries right out at the very end. And also at the back end, you get a nice roasted malt or toasted bread. Nice malty flavor. After the initial bourbon, like I said, you get that malt, and it almost finishes like a Oktoberfest, where it's more malt, really not any hints of bitterness in it at all. This is actually a very, very good beer. I was a little hesitant on it because I see it mostly as a gimmick. So, trying to see, you do get some of the oak in the middle too when you really wait for it. And I don't want to say you taste the vanilla, but I think there is definitely an undertone of the vanilla. So just, again, it helps round out the bourbon flavor. Really, really interesting beer. Not sure where I'm going on the overall score. I would say just as let's not compare it to anything, just as a drinkable beer, I like this a lot. I would think it'd be really good, say, after a meal, a really nice dessert beer. I don't know if it's the beer I want to sit down and watch a baseball game with or a football game with, but after a big meal or a nice meal, I think this would be a nice beer. Maybe after a day at work, and just a nice beer to wind down with. I guess I'm saying it's a kind of a relaxing beer. So So score-wise, we'll give it a solid 86 out of 100. So it's a little bit better than a flat B beer because it's really well made. It's got a nice taste to it. It's a unique class of beer, even though some other people have tried to do it. And overall, very good. Till next time, keep drinking.